You're listening to Colorado Today. My name is Wayne, and now I get to talk to a lady about a wonderful organization that I discovered here recently, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I've been really looking forward to hearing all about it. And the lady is Kathryn Arbour, Ph.D. She's the president and CEO of Rebuilding Together Metro Denver. Kathryn, thank you so much for taking time to do this interview. Been looking forward to it.
Well, thanks, Wayne, so much. Me too.
And I know there's so many great things to talk about when it comes to your organization, but let's start at the beginning. A little bit about yourself. First of all, I know you have a Ph.D., and that's pretty impressive, because here at the radio station, I usually just, end up working with people that some of us are lucky to get out of high school. So.
Well, thank you so much. Yes. I have a doctoral degree in linguistics and was a college professor for a number of years, and then moved into the business world, where I had the great fortune of working with many big companies around the country, and including a stint on Wall Street, and owned my own business a few years back, and at that time became much more focused on being a good citizen, if you will, and participating in boards of directors and
like
whatnot.
A humanitarian.
Yeah. There's something about when you have your own business and you're dealing every day much more individually with members of a community that your passions and your interests really do begin to shift, and that happened for me. So. When it came time for a change and moving on from the business I owned, I started looking in the nonprofit world, and lo and behold, about 3 years ago, this role here at Rebuilding Together just seemed to be the perfect match.
Oh man, for sure. Now, where did you grow up, and where did you receive your doctorate?
So my degree is from the University of Michigan. I grew up, however, in Newport, Rhode Island, and spent a good part of not only my early years, but certainly a lot of my career on the East Coast. And then I've been in Colorado and in Denver specifically for about 15 years now.
Well, you're practically a native then.
Yes, that's what I like to think.
At least an honorary native.
That's right.
Now, what brought you to Colorado? Was it business? That sort of thing?
Yes, I had an opportunity to work at a travel organization.
Okay.
And it was good time for me, because there were also some family things that were starting to percolate around Colorado. So by the time I put all the parts together, I'm lucky enough now to have some children here and some stepchildren here, some grandchildren here, and so it's turned out to be home.
That's right. We got you now. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's
you got those roots going on. Well, now Rebuilding Together Metro Denver. How long has that been in existence?
We incorporated here in Denver in 1999.
Okay.
And there is a national organization that runs out of Washington, D.C., and we are one of about 180 affiliates across the country. We're one of the bigger ones, at least in terms of being in a bigger metro area. Sure. And our mission is specifically to deliver critical home repairs for homeowners, folks who are at risk, primarily older adults, people with disabilities, and veterans, although we also do some work with at-risk families with children. But primarily the mission began about 35 years ago on a national scale. Okay. And was working in rural communities and with individuals who'd lived in their homes a long time, but because circumstances, change in life, they could no longer maintain their homes. And as we all know, those of us who live in homes, if you don't maintain those things, pretty soon you get a lot of trouble.
That's right. And the the first thing that occurs to me is, and I've seen houses where they've actually built ramps up to the front door for people that now are, not as mobile as they were maybe when they first, for many years that they lived in that house. So that's probably some of the things you do.
Exactly. We really do try to focus primarily on the health and safety issues. So particularly for older adults, things like mobility issues, and the bathroom, for example, becomes the most dangerous place in a house.
Oh, sure.
And when you're looking at, these older homes and, the old cast iron tubs, things like that. So we try to go in and help make some things more accessible, a little bit safer. Ramps, you're absolutely right. We do lots of minor electrical, plumbing, and then as winter comes, one of the big services that we render is we're one of the few options for some emergency issues around heat and water and electricity. So it's all dependent on funding, of course, but if we have the funds and the funding, we can help with furnace repairs, the occasional furnace replacement. I probably get a call a day for water heaters.
What about energy efficiency? That's a hot topic
yes.
these days.
It's such a balancing act because so many of these homes need so many vital things. But obviously, when we're inside of a home, we do try to make some basic changes, caulking windows and wrapping the water heater. Some of the things that will help with energy efficiency, because surely, that does translate into real dollars for these folks. We do have some corporate partners who occasionally will help us with windows, roofing, siding, things like that. But again, as I say, it's like a little Rubik's Cube for us of, trying to balance the high demand for our services, as you might guess, and the fact that there's a finite pool of dollars, and all of this work is pretty expensive work.
I was just going to ask you, who actually does the physical work? You had mentioned you have partners. Are these construction companies, private individuals? How does that work?
Some of both. We, again, our roots as a nonprofit, as with many nonprofits, are in the volunteer world. So we do have a cadre. It's a small cadre, but a very loyal cadre nonetheless of some skilled folks who volunteer whenever they're able. Some are retired. Some fit us in between, their regular work life or their other busy lives. We do form partnerships with private businesses, and we are so lucky. There are just, so many generous businesses in our community who are willing to discount their services for us, or in the case of some of these big items, every so often they will outright donate, donate a furnace, donate windows, give us their, bathroom remodel, for example, and it really is. It's about crafting, as with all relationships, crafting how it is that everybody can walk away getting some of their needs met, and happily. So many of our business partners are willing to sit at the table and, say, okay, we can give you that, and how about this, and what do you think of that? And suddenly there we are able to address some of these really dramatic needs.
That is great. Certainly takes a lot of teamwork. If you're just joining us, we're visiting with Kathryn Arbour, Ph.D., who's the president and CEO of Rebuilding Together Metro Denver. And you had mentioned volunteers. Is there a need for, just maybe somebody who has maybe a construction background, or someone who maybe is retired but still has some great skills to lend to people? Can they contact
Absolutely.
you?
It is one of the areas where I constantly need infusion of new folks who are discovering us, because as you can imagine, once I find somebody, I'm going to I call a lot.
That's
so
great.
Being able to have increasing numbers always who are willing, and we're very amenable to working out individual schedules. Right now, as a matter of fact, we're experimenting with, again, from some suggestions that have come to us, of putting together a few work days every month, where people might be able to just get them on their calendars, or we can post them. Typically what we'll do is we'll try to just call individuals who say they're willing to help, and we might know that they have one Saturday a month, or they have 4 hours on a Tuesday every other week. And so we try to customize how it is that we work with individuals. But some folks have suggested that if we were to put together work days, that maybe those with skills might be able to sign up, without having to figure out a lot of things ahead of time. So we're always open to ideas and suggestions in forming these relationships.
Well, Kathryn, I would imagine when someone volunteers, first of all, when you're rebuilding something or fixing something, there's a certain amount of almost instant gratification, because then you can stand back and see, the fruits of your labor, that you've made a difference in someone's life. So I'm imagining you get a lot of people that kind of repeat volunteers, if you will.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. And, occasionally, and we just had one of these, every so often, might be once, twice a year, we'll do a big neighborhood rebuilding day. And on those days, we also add some of the other types of work that people who may not have a background in home repair or construction can participate in. And we do have lots of folks who sign up all the time, say, whenever you have one of those days. So they might help clean up a property. They might help do some painting. They might help with, getting the yard to look sort of nice, because, again, many of the folks we help, they're not in a position, and it's to have a sprinkler system or any of those things. And as we know nowadays, this whole xeriscaping concept is catching on as a way to preserve water anyway. So we've been more recently, when we have these big days, trying to help people use mulch and rock and different kinds of plants more effectively in their yards, so that they can still have a beautiful home without having to put out the kinds of money.
Kind of upkeep.
Right.
Now, I don't know if we've mentioned your website, but it's just a wonderful resource, rebuildingdenver.org, rebuildingdenver.org, and then people can find out more information, how they can help. Maybe someone thinks that they could use your help, from your organization. I assume they can contact you that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Indeed.
For people that don't have Internet access, and there are a few still left, is there a phone number they could reach to call you about, maybe making a donation of their time or their money or one thing or another? Is there a number they can reach you at?
Yes, indeed. 720-524-0840.
So 720-524-0840. That's excellent. I notice you have some activities coming up. I kind of want to spotlight December, because people get busy when December starts to roll around. Of course, we're, way out from that yet, a month and a half or so. But I wanted people to maybe put this on their calendar. December 4th, you have a 5th annual wine tasting fundraising event. That sounds really good.
We are so excited. We've been building this wine tasting over the years, and obviously what you try to do as a nonprofit is continually grow your events so that they can pull in more people who learn about you, and obviously more funds. And with wine tasting, there's also this desire to keep it intimate enough and interesting enough. So this year we have the wonderful advantage of a new site that's being donated. It's the BAC Appliance Center, and they're donating their space, and it can hold almost triple the number that we have historically been able to attract. Uh-huh. And with that comes their executive chef, with whom we've met, and she is putting together some very unique and wonderful ideas to complement the wine tasting. A couple of cooking demos, for example, and probably a few other surprises that we're still in the middle of.
Working out the details.
Yes.
It sounds like just a wonderful way to kick off the month of December. And Kathryn, Arbour, it's just been delightful to talk to you. And I know you're going to have other things probably come up after the first of the year. And I certainly look forward to the next time I get to visit with you. Just a tremendous organization, rebuilding together Metro Denver. And once again, I thank you for your time and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Wayne. Me too.